But of course, the centers for both teams were also having a battle. There. I mean, the forwards, I guess, Cody Riley for UCLA, and it was
Gonzaga.
Yeah, Timmy. That's right, Timmy. I kept yelling that every time he got the ball. I kept yelling that every time he got the ball. Thank you for downloading and listening to West Box Score. I'm Alex Gonzalez, joined once again by D-Bot Donald Paz. What's up, dude?
Yo, what's going on, Alex? How you been, brother?
I've been good, man. I've been excited watching opening day baseball. It's good to see our reigning, defending world champion Los Angeles Dodgers doing the damn thing, man. I didn't realize how much I missed baseball. Like, I knew I missed baseball, and spring training doesn't do it justice, until you see games that matter, and it's like, I'm so glad baseball's back, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm on the same boat too with that one, dude. It's cool. I'm the whole stress of it coming back. It wasn't there in spring training, and now it is. So I love it.
Exactly. Yeah, these are like the games that matters. The games that matter now. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like this is for keeps. This is us defending the title. So. And it's exciting, even though the Dodgers opened up. We'll talk about the Dodgers later, but before we get started, we got to give a shout out to our media partner, Blue Wire Hustle. Be sure to follow them on Twitter at Blue Wire Hustle. And our boy who's MIA today, still missing in action, still working on assignment, Sonny Amano from the Fox Crate Podcast. Be sure to check him out on Instagram and check out his podcast, the Fox Crate Podcast. But on Instagram, he's at the Fox Crate. It's a hell of a podcast if you're a vinyl collector or just a music lover, about the music culture as a whole. It's a good listen, man. He puts together a really good podcast. Not to say that this podcast you're listening to right now isn't good. You should listen to both of them. It's like a A-B, like A side and a B side, if you will. I would say we're probably the B side, right? Like
no, for sure.
But it's like a hidden gem, a hidden gem B side. That's us. That's the West Box Score podcast. Fox Crate's the A side, we're the B side, but still like, oh man, which one do I like better? I like them both. Hopefully you like both of them. Big shout out. Make sure to check out Donald and myself on Twitter at WestBoxScore, and check out our Discord, man. Donald's doing the damn thing on our Discord. Big shouts out to Billy Delgado on the Discord. Big shout out to Big Money Matt. Matt Paz out there, dude. Thanks for checking us out on putting up your Instagram stories. We love that stuff, dude. Yeah. That's great. So we appreciate the love. And it's all love here on West Box Score, man. It's mainly LA love, Cali love. That's how we do it, right?
Yeah. And we got a new review.
Oh, that's right. How about be sure to check us out on Apple Podcasts. If you do, give us a 1 to 5 star review, whatever your heart desires, and give us that rating, but also give us the review. Write a couple sentences, man. We appreciate that because that helps us out on the old Apple algorithm. Tim Cook putting us out there for everybody to listen, man. Because if it's like, like a band that you like is small. Hopefully that's like us, right? We're a small band you like. And if we get a little big, you're like, I don't like them anymore. Yeah. But trust me, we'll always rap. We always appreciate the love, man. So we have another 5-star review here, right, Donald?
We got a 5-star review from MDL18, user MDL18. Shout out to you, man.
Big shouts.
And the title of this review is I Love LA.
Nice.
5-star review. He says, if you do too, this is the podcast for you. Great energy with a deep focus on the entire LA sports scene.
Wow, I love that, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you taking the time. Write that little review there. Give us those 5 stars to match the LA Galaxy 5 stars. I really appreciate that. That's nice, man. I really appreciate the love there. That's why we do this podcast for us LA natives who are from LA, rep LA, and sometimes we have that. I have that tunnel vision. D-Bot doesn't have it, knows this too much. He tries to stay straight and narrow, right? Calls it even, right down the middle, daddy. Like,
look at both sides of the coin.
Yes, yes. Like Bill Alfonso, ECW original. Remember that guy, Rob Van Dam's manager with the whistle?
Yeah, that's right.
He would blow the whistle right down the middle, daddy. That's D-Bot right there. He's right down the middle. He's not gonna play favorites. He's gonna call it even. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm biased. These are my LA teams. I'm a root for them no matter what. Even when they're right, even when they're wrong. Those are my teams. So, speaking of doing wrong right now, let's talk about the purple and gold of the LA Lakers. They took on the Clippers yesterday, man, in the Battle of LA, the Battle of Staples Center. And I guess you could say that Los Angeles is blue and red right now, or black and white. What colors do the Clippers wear? Clipper Pablo, where are you at? Tell these Clippers to make up their minds with their colors over here. So, Depot, break it down for us. How are our Lakers doing right now?
They're not looking too good. They lost 86-104 against the Clippers over the weekend. Actually, over Easter Sunday. The game was at 12:30 p.m. LA time. And yeah, the Lakers just looked really depleted. It was I don't know. I felt like that was gonna happen. I had sent a couple messages, and it didn't feel like a lot of Laker Nation was really buzzing about this game. Like they weren't really like they were. I think most of the people were like watching it. Like this is the thing about like the LA scene is that like we're very pacifist, and if we have better things to do, we probably will go and do those things. So I think a lot of people were like, oh yeah, it's Easter Sunday. Like I gotta go be with my family at 12:30 p.m. Like I'm not gonna watch a LeBron less and AD less Lakers team play against our cross locker room rivals here, who are actually a lot better looking, given that they have their 2-star players. So obviously with that, I think that reflected the game for the most part. I mean, the Lakers just looked like they were struggling to get anything going. For the most part, the stats wise, Montrezl Harrell had 19 points, and he came off the bench because the starters were Kyle Kuzma, Markieff Morris, Marc Gasol, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, and Dennis Schroeder. And Harrell was the one that had the most points at 19.
Yep.
Talen Horton-Tucker had 16 points, but I mean, 19 points and 16 are really low for being like high scoring, like being the best players of the game. But that definitely tells you like the big drop off that this team has gone through since losing out on AD and LeBron. And then most currently right now, Andre Drummond. We were excited last week about Drummond coming on.
Right? Yeah.
And we were looking forward to it. And then that game happened, the first game that he started as a Laker. And then he gets a toe contusion. And now he has out with a toe injury. And I think as of right now, I mean, it's kind of a day-to-day thing, but he was out that game, and then he was out the following game. Then he was out again against this Clippers game. So, I mean, it just feels like right now the injury bug is just hitting the Lakers at the wrong time. And I think for the most part, I mean, if you're a discouraged Laker fan like we are right now, obviously, just understand that, like Sonny said a couple weeks back, like AD and LeBron are the Lakers. And now we're seeing that's really what it is. And we're not going to, fortunately, Kuzma, Slim Kuzi, as he's known now with the blonde hair, because he's looking like Slim Shady. The Caruso is not a Caruso anymore without LeBron and AD there. So it's just like all the superpowers are gone. And it's interesting. But hopefully the Lakers and Clippers play against they play again next month in May. So hopefully come May, both teams will be at full strength, and hopefully we'll see a better matchup. So yeah.
But the Lakers definitely don't have an easy road, right? They got the Raptors coming up next. They got the Heat. Finals rematch, and they got the Nets. Oh my goodness, man! Well, the Knickerbockers after that, but it doesn't get any easier down the road, right? There's like about a month and a half still to go, right? The middle of May is when the season wraps up, so you need to get these guys back healthy, right? But do you rush them? Like I remember you and Sonny both said you guys wanted AD back, like the day, like the first game of the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
At this point, they're holding on to the 5th seed. Could they slip? Could they slip out? There's no.
It kind of feels like, right? I mean, given what you just said right now about the matchups that are coming up, it feels like they could. I mean, you got the Raptors, the Heat, the Nets, the Knicks, all guys that, all teams that are doing really well in the playoff bracket. It'd be different if there were like back-to-back like games against the Sacramento Kings, or like the Warriors or someone that's like a teams that are not going anywhere. But it looks like those matchups against those kind of teams are few. Like there's not a lot. I mean, their last game is against the Pelicans. I see here only the Kings are playing once, but then they're playing the Mavericks like a couple times. They're playing the Nuggets a couple times. They're playing the Raptors a couple times. They're playing the Trailblazers, Damian Lillard. I mean, it just feels like there's little room for error. I mean, you got to figure out how to hold on in that playoff bracket, how to hold on at least in the top 4 so that, you get some sort of home court advantage. But I mean, it's just going to be kind of weird if they have to go on the road. And it feels like worst case scenario, that could be what it is. They go on the road for the playoffs.
There's no rest for the Riri with this team right now, man. And it's just like you want to lick your wounds and get healthy is number one, but you hope this when LeBron does come back, that he comes back to a team that's still in the playoffs and not fighting for like the final playoff spot. It's I mean it's
or the
possible,
play-in
but
spot. You know what I mean? They're gonna have a
man,
play-in. So
can you imagine that from defending champions to playing into the playoffs, man?
yeah, exactly. It's insane, man. Especially if you look at compared to the Clippers, right? Clippers got the Blazers, the Suns, the Rockets. Blazers and Suns are good. Rockets no good. Then they're playing the Pistons, who are not great either. And then they're playing the Pacers, who are also like an okay team. Nothing you could totally win that. Then they play the Pistons again, and it just doesn't look like the Lakers. I mean, they're playing the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, they're getting a lot of teams that are not competing at all for a playoff spot. So it's just day and night the way the Clippers and Lakers schedule is looking like, and it's only because LeBron and AD are out. Like it's just insane.
It's the two biggest players on the team. It's gonna happen that way. It's just gonna the way that those two guys go, the way the team goes, right? So
yes,
those two guys out, it's gonna affect the entire team. It's a trickle down effect. But I love the audacity of Clipper Pablo trying to feed into my gambling addiction that he knows I have. Trying to make this Lakers Clippers game interesting with me before the tip off. I'm like, of course I'm not going to bet you. Like the two best players from the Lakers are out. You guys are at full strength. Like what do you expect's going to happen? And he's like, all right, next one. Of course, dude. Of course. I love that he's just fishing for free money. Just all his Venmo account is all my degenerate gambling bets from Lakers Clippers. And, at any time Dodgers are playing anybody else, he just wants to antagonize me. That's the way he is. Clipper Pablo, an antagonizer. That's what he is. But man, we'll see. You know who the Lakers need right now? Somebody from this UCLA or Gonzaga squad.
Yeah.
Because that UCLA Gonzaga game, the Final Four matchup, might have been up there with probably the best basketball games. Not just college or pro, just basketball game, period. Best basketball game I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And mind you, I don't have a rooting. Yes, I was rooting for UCLA. They're from LA, but I'm not a UCLA hardcore guy. I'm an SC guy. But, I'm not going to hate on the fact that UCLA, we've gone over this, right?
Yeah.
About UCLA versus USC.
Yeah.
I would say USC for football, definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But basketball is like, you got to respect the legacy the UCLA Bruins have put out on the hardwood there. So, of course, you're rooting for them, the hometown team. But as just somebody who's like, could care either way, what a game, right, Donald?
Yeah.
What did you think?
Oh, man, dude, that was edge of your seat, thrilling, nail-biting game. I watched it starting at the second half. I saw a little bit of the first half, like the first 5 minutes, and I think I messaged on the Discord, like, oh, dang, like, was it Gonzaga was, at the time, Gonzaga was a 12.5-point favorite, and I said UCLA's keeping it close. Like, this is crazy. Like, if you took UCLA plus the points, you made a lot of money right now. But the thing is that, like, I was surprised to see UCLA keep it close, because it's just like Gonzaga just like, beat USC by like 20 points, and they look like they've been beating every other team like by blowouts. So it was insane to see UCLA keep up with it. And I think that's what got me, on top of it being a UCLA game. It was just like, yo, this is a good basketball game overall. This is like competitive, even though, and it's crazy because like the story with UCLA is that they came from, first four in, right? They had to play to get into this tournament, and it was a number 11 seed versus a number 1 seed. Gonzaga's been undefeated, and you kind of, there was at times when I started watching the full game from the second half and on to the end, and there was times where I was like, I think UCLA could take this. Like, they look like they could do it. They have to be perfect, but they looks like they could pull it off. But it did feel like this was gonna be the type of game where the winning team was only gonna win by like one or like 2 or 3 points or something like that. It wasn't gonna go crazy. But yeah, I think as the game was, I think at the end of the game, like I saw the lines again, and Gonzaga was a 14.5-point favorite. So I'm assuming come second half they increased it by 2 points. But I'm like, dude, if you still took UCLA plus the points, you made a lot of money. So it was insane to see like how close that game was. I remember Gonzaga being like only pulling ahead by like 8 points at certain spots, But then UCLA would come back, and it would just be like, "What the heck is going on?" You know?
I think at one point the biggest lead UCLA had was like a 6-point lead.
Yeah.
But this entire game was so back and forth from the middle of the first half all the way through, where it felt like the team with the last possession is going to win this game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
pretty much.
UCLA had the ball toward the end of regulation.
Yeah.
It's like they're going to do it. They got this. They got this. It was tied, of course. They got this. They have a shot at winning the game here. And they lollygagged the ball up the court with like something like, I felt like it was 10 seconds, like under 10 seconds to go.
Yeah, that
And it's
turnover.
like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Get in there and work a shot. And they didn't.
Yeah.
And because of that, they went to overtime. And oh my God, that freaking overtime was all Gonzaga. It was very heavily Gonzaga.
Yeah.
And the UCLA cuts into the lead. And one of the final possessions, right, with about 10 seconds to go, Juzang was it?
Juzang,
I believe.
yeah.
Misses a shot, gets his own rebound, makes it, and it's like, oh crap, he ties it in overtime with 3 seconds to go. And this guy from Gonzaga, his name escapes me, but he is incredible. Suggs, that's right. Unbelievable. The whole game, it felt like a one-on-one really between both of these guys, because both of these guys were the star players, right?
I loved it.
But of course, the centers for both teams were also having a battle.
Yeah.
I mean, the forwards, I guess, Cody Riley for UCLA, and it was
Gonzaga.
Yeah, Timmy. Every time he got the ball. And it was just a fun game, like back and forth. Once again, if you're a hardcore fan of both teams, I feel for your nerves, because I'm sorry, that was a real back and forth nail biter.
Yeah.
So of course, if you're UCLA, man, heartbreaking way to lose. Totally understand.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Suggs hits it at half court, right?
Yeah.
As time's expiring for Gonzaga to win.
Tough.
And it's just, I mean, from the penthouse to the doghouse in seconds, right?
Yeah.
Like as a UCLA fan, so as we've seen all over social media, and it's sad, man,
it is
to lose that way. But it's also, you got to keep your chin up, because that was a game for the ages, man.
Yeah.
It sucks that somebody's gonna lose that game.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a winner and loser always, but man, if you're gonna go out, UCLA went out on their sword, man.
Yeah.
That's the way to go out, like a true warrior, a true team battling. So I don't want to hear, I've seen so much stuff too, like, oh, that was a lucky shot. And then Bill Plaschke, the windbag, Bill Plaschke saying UCLA deserved better.
Yeah.
Deserved better than losing heroically that way?
Yeah.
What better do you want? Yes, of course, better winning, obviously. But no, if you're going to lose, you lost in a very heroic way. Big ups to this UCLA basketball team, man. This team
awesome.
Was fun to watch.
That was fun. Yeah. No, for sure. I agree with you. I did see Skip Bayless say the lucky shot tweet. And then he said,
come on, Skip.
He said, call me Skip Baylor for Monday night. I was like, oh, shoot. I guess he's like really anti-Gonzaga, which was interesting. I was like, geez, dude.
What guy from Gonzaga stole his girl, man?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
It's funny.
Jesus,
I watched a Jimmy Kimmel clip where he said like, oh, like we still need to prove that this is like a real school, Gonzaga, because for some reason we didn't realize that this was like an existing school. It was like a funny little bit that he did, you know, talking about how good the team was, but yet no one knows the school like exists. So.
My favorite was you a couple weeks ago saying Gonzaga Bulldogs. That sounds like a generic school.
Yeah,
like, come on,
exactly.
Come on, man, give them a little respect.
When I blanked out on their name,
Garfield Bulldogs. Give some respect to the Gonzaga Bulldogs, the Garfield Bulldogs, the British Bulldog.
Yeah,
give them all respect.
Yes.
Oh man, but what a way to go out. UCLA basketball team, big ups to you guys. You guys went out on your sword. True warriors, man. Big ups to you guys. So going up from the hardwood now to the baseball diamond. Oh man, isn't it lovely? I mean, except for that baseball diamond in Denver, Colorado, my Coors Field, man. I hate watching the Dodgers play there. It's just it's such a toss up. When you go there, and the altitude and the fly ball turns into a 450-foot home run. It's just ridiculous. And no lead is safe ever.
No.
But I was just still happy to see my Dodgers. And opening day didn't go the Dodgers' way, right?
No.
Kershaw got the start. Dodgers took a 8-5 loss, but and then what about that belly home run quotation marks?
That was wild.
What a way to start the season, right?
Yeah.
Donald, what happened there?
Yeah, like so Bellinger hits a home run, and it was supposed to be a 2-run home run had everything gone right. And he hits it. I think because of the confusion of the outfielder catching it and it falling off his glove and going out, into the home run stand, like, Justin Turner runs, but then he comes back because he thought like it got caught, and then Cody Bellinger runs, past him. And I guess it's like they didn't realize that they crossed each other. So that definitely basically gave him the out by rule.
Yeah.
And then they awarded him only a single, but then he was out. And it was like the weirdest thing to ever see like happen. It's like that rule in the book that's in the rule book that no one's ever exercised. And somehow now it was exercised. It was like, oh, damn.
Paper pushers are the worst.
Yeah.
Paper pushing umps. Who reads that rule book?
I know, right? I was like, so that looked like an obvious home run. Can we just get them?
Like, just give him his home run. Like, no. Turner crossed him on running back.
Yeah.
Like, I love Bellinger gets so much flack on these memes for looking high all the time because his face looks like he's high. But Justin, I was just as high as he was when I heard that call. Like, geez, are you serious? You're gonna call that?
Yeah.
So that was opening day. Moving ahead now, game 2, Trevor Bauer gets his Dodgers debut.
Yeah.
And he looked good going through 6 innings, right? He had a no-hitter going.
He was dealing.
Denver, Colorado, he looked good. And in the top of the 7th inning, you knew something was going to be up because he was out there for a while on the bases. He had the jacket on. He beat out I think he threw down a bunt and he beat it out. And every time a pitcher runs, has to go around the bases, that always hurts them, right? Like they always come out that next inning a little shaky.
Yeah.
And it was shaky. I think he gave up 2 singles and 2 home runs in that inning.
Yeah.
And then the bullpen didn't help him out either. Gave up 6 runs. Luckily, Dodgers still held on to win that game 11-6.
Yeah.
And so that was on Friday night. Saturday night, Dodgers looked good again. Sunday, Dodgers win again. So Dodgers currently 3-1 start the season. We got to see Kershaw. We got to see Buehler. We got to see Bauer, and we got to see Urias. Out of those 4 that we've seen so far, Donald, who's your ace?
Oh man, I really love what Urias did. I mean, 6 shutouts. That was impressive. So yeah, I mean, I love Bauer. I know you and I were texting about like how he was dealing that day, and it was funny because it was literally on the 6th inning, and then the 7th inning he blows it, and we were like, oh crap, okay. But like, I like the swag and all that, and I do get that I think that kind of what bit him in the ass a little bit was the whole like him, doing the Conor McGregor thing and kind of getting a little too cocky, and the other teams catch that stuff, and I think that's the only thing that kind of like would kind of hurt him a little bit. And then again, it doesn't help that David Price comes in after him and also allows.
That's right. David Price is the one who gave up a couple home runs too.
So it was just like big. It got us deep in the hole. I honestly thought like this game was gonna get tied by the end of it, and then we'd have to go to extra innings because I was like, dude, this is getting too easy for the Rockies. And the thing is, you can never sleep on Blackman, dude. You just can't.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those
Trevor
things.
Story.
Exactly. Story too. Yeah. So it's just there's certain guys on those teams that you can't sleep on, and it just felt like, oh man. But overall pitcher, dude, like I really liked Urias. He looks like he finished the World Series and is continuing it from that. You know what I mean? So that's who I would put as my ace if it was me.
It's an embarrassment of riches right now with our Dodgers rotation. Today, as we're recording this on a Monday afternoon, Dustin May takes on the Oakland A's. So it's like, man, okay, so that's our 5th starter.
Yeah.
And I really like May as our 5th starter. That's where I feel like where he belongs, has to prove himself a little bit more.
Yeah.
I could see them interchanging him with Gosselin maybe a little bit later down the line, or just until Price, gets to where he needs to be, and he'll be our 5th starter, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where I feel like the lineup should go, right? The pitching rotation, rather. And man, that's just so many arms, Slam Diego, calling you out. You Darvish, Blake Snell. Okay, you got a nice little 1-2 punch down there. And I know if Sonny were here, he'd go down the other 3 guys in that Slam Diego rotation. But those are the ones that stick out to me the most because those are the big names they picked up.
Yep.
I forget their actual ace who's out all this year with Tommy John surgery. So it's It's the Dodgers division to lose again. I feel like this year. I mean, mind you, with a 4-game sample size, this is me like already shock us in for another division title. I mean, this is just me with my LA biased eyes as always. But they looked good against a formidable foe in the Colorado Rockies. I mean, let's see what they do now against the stronger teams in like a Slam Diego. Let's see what they look like against like the Cubs, who are going to be good.
Oh, the Cubs.
Let's see what they do against Atlanta. You know who I want to see them do good against is I can't wait. They're playing later this month and next month. The Houston Astros, who are 4-0 right now to start the season. And so I just cannot wait for when the Astros come to Dodger Stadium and there will be fans there. I'm gonna full disclosure here. I was looking up tickets for a Tuesday afternoon game.
Yeah.
Because truth be told, that is going to be my birthday, and I wanted to give myself a birthday present of going to see live baseball because I've missed it so much.
Yeah.
Where I'd be willing to go to Anaheim to see the Houston Astros take on the Angels. And trust me, I won't be rooting for either team. I'll just be vigorously rooting against the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
And of course, I get to see one of the best players in all of baseball, Mike Trout.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't, and you're going to learn the economics here of this new COVID 2021 baseball season. You ready for this, Donald?
Yeah, go.
Nosebleed seats, $12 each. Okay, $24. Okay, not bad. But and by the way, there's only certain tickets that are available for 2 packs.
Okay.
Other ones are like the 4-person pods, 3-person pods, 6-person pods. Right? You have to buy them that way.
Yeah.
So this is one of the few that were a pair of tickets up in the nosebleeds. Okay, $12 each, $24. Parking. You got to pay for parking ahead of time because they won't let you use cash.
Yeah.
Parking, $20. Parking is as much as 2 tickets in the nosebleeds. Wow. So you're at $44. Okay. Still not too bad. Whatever. I'm still in. It wasn't until I get to the final checkout and I see 2021 service charge. What is a 2021 service charge? Maybe it's to pay for Lysol and more cleaning. Maybe it's that. Either way, that service charge, whatever. The service charge is on everything, right?
Yeah.
Except this charge, $17.95. So you're almost at $20 there. It was $60 for 2 tickets and parking, though. But still, don't you think that's a bit excessive? What do you think, Donald? In all fairness, you're going to risk the Rona for this?
That's interesting. That's an interesting number for the service charge, $17.95. Like I don't know, what is that based off of? Like I'm assuming yes, it's probably like COVID related, like probably to make sure like they could still buy supplies to make sure everything's sanitized, and they probably need to hire people to wipe stuff down after the fact. But I don't know. I mean, is that the only charge? Is still Ticketmaster gets a cut for their thing, and I'm assuming like all this other stuff, like it just feels like it could be excessive after the fact if you add every single person, every single company involved in getting these tickets processed,
Yeah, I mean, I saw that and I'm like, I backed out. For one, it's like, well, it's a day game after a night game. Mike Trout's probably going to get a day off at that point. Am I really going to, once again, go down all the way to Anaheim, risk the Rona, and not be able to, it just really to hate on the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what I'm doing. I'm part of that Dodgers bandwagon who's going all the way down there just to boo them.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, yeah, that's tough, dude. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. Just me though.
Right.
Again, like
I'm with you.
I'm not in the group that would put like a billboard in front of the Boston Red Sox stadium either. But
I saw that and I just thought, you guys, and trust me, at times I love a good trolling. I do. I love a good jab. I do. But I saw that, I'm like, you realize how much this is going to bite us in the ass. Like this, and it's just so freaking dumb. It's not worth it right now.
Nah.
Don't spike the ball yet. We've won 1 championship with Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
But do you really want to insult the Boston Red Sox fan base? The biggest asshole fan base in all of sports. Because trust me, you hit that hornet's nest, they're going to come back and sting us back with something else. Just you wait. Wait till Mookie Betts has a couple seasons that fall off and he's not as good as he once was. And you best believe they're going to come back with, oh, thanks for Kike. Thanks for Verdugo.
Yeah, exactly.
Billboards right back at us. You don't realize how dumb and it's not necessary. It's a bad look. It's not worth it. But what else would you expect from the Pantone 255 or 351, right?
Yeah.
That's Sonny's favorite Dodger supporter group. I say that Sonny hates them. Sonny hates them too. So that's one thing we could agree on. I don't like that supporter group right now. That's just a dumb, unnecessary look right now. But speaking of the Angels and Mike Trout, the Angels have themselves an impressive 3-1 record, don't they, Donald?
Yes, they do. I don't know if you saw we have a mutual friend here, and we do have one by the name of Aaron who is a Chicago White Sox.
Aaron.
Aaron, and obviously he paid attention to this series because it was the Angels and the White Sox, and I remember today we were talking over the A-Rod performance on the ESPN Sunday Night channel because I guess. They had A-Rod call the game, and it was interesting because like a big part of the whole Angels win, obviously Shohei Ohtani was pretty impressive, but it was just kind of funny seeing how like people were clowning on A-Rod's like kind of broadcast calls because he kept trying to guess everything ahead of time and all that, and it was interesting. But it was just
trying to channel his inner Tony Romo there.
Yeah, something like that, and it was just kind of weird hearing him, try to, I don't know, like what he was trying to do. He tried to, basically Tony Romo it, and it was kind of annoying. But
yeah,
then again, that's A-Rod. He's trying to do the whole like I know this game better than everybody thing, and it was interesting. But the A's, they're looking really good right now. I think that they're definitely a team that you might need to watch out for if you're in the American League. So that definitely speaks to the franchise maybe starting to turn a corner. So. I mean, I think it's huge, and I mean, as of right now, they're in they're in second place in the AL West. Only one loss because, of course, like you mentioned earlier, the Astros are perfect with 4-0. But man, they're looking really impressive. So maybe manager Joe Madden is just really getting something going with that crew. So I don't know. I think it's great. I think that it's good for the Angels to have some sort of competition going. But they're looking really good so far. I mean, against the White Sox, it was pretty impressive, that they got, 3 out of the 1 from that four-game series. And we'll see how they look. But, so far they look really impressive. So I'm definitely keeping my eye on them now.
Listen, everybody in the AL West, you got Sonny repping the Seattle Mariners. You got our good friend from work, Lita Martinez, representing the Oakland A's. And I got a lot of family down there in Anaheim who roots for the Angels. I say Anaheim as a term of endearment. And a lot of family down there who roots for the Angels. So literally any of you three, I am rooting for you guys. Well, except for the Texas Rangers. You take out both those teams from Texas. Take out the Rangers, take out the Astros. I just cannot stand any of those teams from Texas. For one, Globe Life Field, over 40,000 plus out there in the Texas Rangers Stadium. Did you see that, Donald?
Yeah, I did see that. It was interesting seeing, and I gotta say that too about the Rockies too. It felt like I was like, dude, this looks really full. Even though I'm sure it wasn't like, I'm sure it was like 30 or 40% or whatever of the capacity, but it's like they really know how to make it look like there's a bunch of people there for opening day. And I think the Texas one, I was looking. Obviously, it's 100% open, I believe, from what I heard.
Right. Yeah.
Last time,
full capacity.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like really interesting how they obviously. Not surprised that they would be that,
Well, it's so weird you say that because I was watching the highlights of the Angels games and I'm like, oh, wow, this stadium looks pretty full. And it's actually more full than when I normally see it because the Angels fans don't really turn out. Come on, be honest, Angels fans. You guys don't turn out much for your games, which is cool. Watch it at home. That's all good. But I see a lot of empty seats when I see Angels games.
Yeah.
The only time I see it full is when the Dodgers are in town, when the Yankees are in town, when the Red Sox are in town. Like, be honest, Angels fans. You don't show up to support your team, which is all good. But man, I mean, it looked packed. And how much of it has to do with the spacing, right? Like you mentioned in Denver.
Yeah.
With so much spacing, it tends to make it maybe look a little bit more full.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm sure they have people that know how to do all that stuff. It's all marketing at the end of the day. So,
you think it's a lot of cardboard cutouts?
Yeah. And it's funny seeing like the mixture of cardboard cutouts at certain places and live people in the same space. I was like, okay, like, all right, I guess,
Oh man, this guy's real stiff next to me. Anyway, going from the baseball diamond to the ice rink. Now, before we leave, we got to talk about our LA Kings, man, because it's as we head to like the final few weeks of this season. There's about 5 weeks or so, and it's not looking good for our LA Kings. I mean, they took out the Golden Knights they took one of two, and it makes you feel like, okay, this is it. They took out the top the division leader, and they're gonna start turning things around here. They they host San Jose, and they drop both of them to San Jose.
Yeah,
and it's just like, well, the season's not over, but it feels like this is the point of time where we could look back and be like, this is where their season ended.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to be too pessimistic about it, but man, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
When you lose so convincingly, 3-0 first in the first game, and then 3-2. Mind you, you don't have a home crowd.
Yeah.
But you're on home ice.
Yeah.
So you're sleeping in your own bed.
Yeah.
You know, there's no reason why you shouldn't be more comfortable. You know the board's better.
Yeah.
You should just know how to win on your home rink.
Yeah.
And it feels really dire.
Yeah.
Donald, what did you think of these last two games, or a few games?
Yeah, no, it looks really dire. Mathematically is where it starts to get really tough. I mean, the Kings are at 34 points, but then the top 4 teams right now, Avalanche are at 54 points, Golden Knights at 50 points, Wild at 48, and then Coyote at 41. And then the Kings being at 34, they're behind the Blues and the Sharks, who have 38, which means they would have to win at this point for sure. They have to win, and then the Blues and the Sharks have to fall, or the Coyote have to fall, so that they can catch up to them. But I mean, when you think about the math of it and the pacing of that, it doesn't feel like it's gonna be. I don't feel like it's doable. I think it would. Because all you could do is win. But at the same time, if all the other teams win, then it doesn't do anything for you. So mathematically, it's where it gets tough for me, especially with so few games left in the season. So I don't know, man. Again, it's looking really bad.
It is, and I'm gonna try to be optimistic here. They have 2 games coming up against Phoenix next, right? Potentially, 4-point swings, right?
Yeah.
Win both those games, you're right back in it. Anything could happen. You got a few games now, and you had that 4-game stretch against the Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Which are the bottom feeding team right now.
Yep.
But the Kings haven't found a way to really beat up on the Ducks yet.
No, they didn't.
So it's like, man, this team really needs to find ways to beat the Ducks, who are in last, and gain some ground. And this team shows glimmers of hope. Defensively.
Yeah.
Defensively, they're starting to get way more sound.
Yeah.
But I saw a stat recently that offensively, they're putting up numbers as bad as the Buffalo Sabres. Props to Buffalo for winning 8 games. Single digits.
Yeah.
They've only won 8 games this whole season so far. Out of 37 games, they've only won 8. And they are putting up better offensive goals in this last stretch than the Kings are right now. So that shows you how dire offensively the Kings are.
Yeah.
What's the answer? I mean, we don't know. I mean, it's hard because the hardest thing to do, first off, is to stop goals in the NHL. Their Kings are starting to do that now. Play better defensively, and you move outward and stretch the puck out, fast break it up on the ice, and bury the puck. They are not burying the puck right now. And until they could do that, they're just going to be there at the bottom of the West Division, near the bottom right now with the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. So I don't know, Donald. We need Wayne Gretzky to suit back up, I think.
Yeah, man. I mean, goals for 98 to goals against 102 is not good. You can't. You're -4 differential. Meanwhile, the Avalanche are plus 38 on the. They're at 49 differential, I should say, and Golden Knights are at 29 differential. So it seems like you said, it's just there's a lack of goal scoring, and then at the same time, goal allowing. They can't be allowing that many goals either. So it's it just feels like and the thing is with this Kings team is that they have moments where they'll go on a 5-0 win. They'll just win 5-0 against somebody. And then the next day it'll be like 3 losses in a row, and it's like, whoa, like we thought you guys were like cooking for a while, and then they're not. And I don't know, I is it just because this team's like, mixed? It's a mixed bag of like really young dudes that still need to develop, and old veterans that don't really have it to consistently win day in and day out. It just feels like it. It just feels like there's like it's a strain of what direction does the club want to go? Do they want to go towards like just going in on all young guys, and then maybe 2, 3, 4 seasons from now they'll be ready, or do they want to somehow have a bit of a win now thing? But if the win now strategy is what they're going for, it doesn't look like it's working right now. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I wonder how much of it is the every other day schedule with the old guys, right?
Yeah.
Because that has to be tough on those old bodies, especially like a Drew Doughty, Kopitar, Jeff Carter, who went through some wars, man, in the 2012, through 2015 stretch of playoff,
Yeah.
And they had themselves 7-game series all of 2014, so those were tough games, and that's going to shorten up your career for sure. So that has to be taking its toll, especially when you're sharing the ice with young guys who are go.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they can't keep up. I think you're right, Donald. You're onto something there.
Yeah.
They should either go all in with these young guys and get what they can with these veterans. I would, as much as it would pay me to see Kopitar, Doughty, leave the Kings team, I think it might be time, man. I know I always say, like, get rid of Doughty. But it would hurt, man. It would definitely hurt. But I think you got to pull the trigger on some of these trades.
Yeah. And even like quick too, man. I mean, goalie's a big part of the goals allowed. So it's interesting that every time I open up, my sports app to watch, what the schedule is for the day on the Kings side, it's always like Jonathan Quick expected to be on. And I'm like, I love the dude, man. But I mean, how much longer does he really have? And, I don't know. I think it's one of those things where the Kings have a lot of hard questions to answer, and they got to be honest with themselves.
Well, every time we lose to the Sharks, like we have, I can't help but look in that net and think, man, we let the wrong goalie go. We let Martin Jones go when maybe we should have kept him and let Quick go.
Yeah.
But right after the 2012 season, they rewarded Quick with a big 10-year contract. I mean, they rewarded all these Kings players, right? And rightfully so, right?
Yeah.
At the time, we thought whoa, we got to keep our core together.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 years later, it's or going on 9 now. Maybe what were we thinking?
Yeah.
What were we thinking? So, but that's a good thing, is at least those contracts are coming up soon, and they could focus on the younger players and developing players that we could hopefully sign or trade away for. So let's see, man. It's just, hockey's fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're just enjoying these games. But D-Bot, fantasy hockey, you're still looking pretty good in that, right?
Yeah. I know Rick beat me last week, and that was my fault for not updating my lineups. And it was funny because he even knew it too. He didn't tell me that we were playing each other. So obviously I had some guys on day to day, and some guys one guy was on IR. So I ended up losing to him. That's my second loss of the whole season. So then what happened is obviously I was a little bothered. I was like, I only lost the first game of the season because I didn't know what I was doing with fantasy hockey. I was like, I don't know how this works. So, and then
what is SOG?
Yeah.
Shots on goal.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, how does this point works? How do I know when I actually win?
I feel like you're the old lady meme looking at the computer. SOG.
Exactly, dude. And then, but yeah, so then what ended up happening is I only had 1 loss, and then I had a good 7 win streak going, and I think I only tied once at one point, and then I met Rick because I beat him the first time, which was the third week, I should say, the second or third week, and then I met him last week, 2 weeks from now actually, and he beat me, and it was because I didn't update my lineup. So, he was number 1 and I was number 2, but now my last game actually tied it. There was a draw, so my record is now officially better than Rick's. So I'm back to number 1.
Nice.
And the Southside Goons are number 2.
I'm rooting for you or Rick. I just want to see a finals matchup between the two of you. I think that would be very fitting, and then may the best fantasy team win at that point. I'm just going to be there for the UCLA Gonzaga matchup between you and Rick at that point. I'm just here for the show.
Yeah.
No vested interest. Just want to see a lights out battle, back and forth battle between the two of you. So, D-Bot, before we go, you know what week this is. This is not just any normal week. This is not rivalry week. This is not Hell Week. This is WrestleMania week. The best week of all weeks of the whole calendar year. You got Monday Night Raw. You got the Hall of Fame ceremony on the day after that. You got NXT Stand and Deliver Night 1. NXT Stand and Deliver Night 2. You got SmackDown on Friday night. Then you got Night 1 of WrestleMania on Saturday. Then you got Night 2 of WrestleMania on Sunday. Then you got the Raw after WrestleMania. Then you got Tuesday Night SmackDown. Tuesday Night NXT.
Yeah.
Because they're debuting now on NXT.
That's right. Yeah, they're moving.
I am exhausted already just talking about that. D-Bot, in all honesty, I know we're going to record a podcast about this.
Yes.
How excited are you, and how much of that content can you actually take in?
I'm really excited for it, because I'm hoping that it's not going to be like last year. That was like the worst one I've ever seen. And I know I'm being really harsh by saying that, but I just, and
they deserve it though.
That's the thing. Like, it was weird. It's like, you guys should have just like, I don't know, either skipped it or like moved it back or something. I don't know, but I don't know what the solution would have been. You know what I mean? It was April, or was it April that, it was only like a month after the shutdown. So
yeah,
I guess I should be a little forgiving, but I just feel like it just felt like kind of, I don't know. It just felt a little too prideful to do it, to like kind of move forward with it. Given that like there was so much uncertainty about the pandemic and COVID and not knowing what was going to happen next. But yeah, man, I mean, this year I'm really looking forward to it. I think like when we did the Royal Rumble, it was awesome. Like it kind of helped me kind of figure out, okay, like I could see how they're building these stories up. I mean, I'm looking forward to a lot of the stuff. I'm looking forward to like Bad Bunny. I'm looking forward to the Bianca Belair, because I thought that was great. I think the women's is like looking really good right now. Like I like both matches. I like that they moved up Rhea Ripley. I think it's only fitting that the second place winner of the Royal Rumble, I should say,
right,
gets the chance at the other title, which is the Raw title. I don't know why with the men
it's
they
very
can't
sports
do that.
like. It makes sense. Yeah.
In the men's, it's like, oh, okay, Edge won, so he chooses Roman Reigns. So now we got to figure out what to do with the other title match. And I guess right now it's Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre, I believe.
Yes.
So
yes,
we'll see how that one goes.
That's going to be the Night 1 title match.
Do you think that the Hurt Business will reunite that night? Like
man, they have to, man.
They'll bail
I can't
out
believe they broke
Lashley.
that up. They have to, right? The Hurt Business is one of the coolest factions on that show. So it's really disappointing, man. But I'm just excited that Night 1, they've announced Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair will main event the event.
I didn't even hear that.
So,
wow.
Yes.
That's insane.
So,
well deserved.
It's very fitting. Yes, absolutely. Because those two women are going to put on a match for the ages.
Yeah.
And it's good, because how can Bobby Lashley, no offense to Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Business when they reunite, hopefully, how can Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre like follow up that match? I'm pretty sure that match, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, is going to be a 5-star match.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Dave Meltzer, because those two women are so athletic and so entertaining and so great at their characters.
Yeah.
That they are going to put on a hell of a show. I honestly think, in all honesty, I don't know if that's the match I'm most looking forward to in this WrestleMania weekend, or Asuka versus Rhea Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, one of those two, and then a really close second, or a close third rather, is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, because those two can go.
Yeah,
those two are gonna. So I'm looking forward to those two women's matches, but I'm really sure that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn may steal WrestleMania if they can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
If they let them do what they can do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, man, and then this is my prediction right now, the unsung hero or the unsung match of this whole event is going to be that Bad Bunny Miz match.
Yeah.
I really think so, because I think we're going to be pretty impressed with what Bad Bunny can do.
Yeah, yeah.
I think so. Or maybe I'm just being super optimistic for it, because I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. That's like the fun match, like the whole, like similar to Zayn, but Zayn are gonna have a little bit more performance behind it. Which, talking about Sami Zayn, I was talking to Rick earlier, and I had told him, like, dude, I'm really loving that whole like kind of QAnon type of thing that he's doing with his character.
Yeah.
Like that trailer that he showed Logan Paul that day on SmackDown was amazing. I didn't realize like they did that they pieced something together like that, and then it's like this whole like kind of reveal of a QAnon conspiracy, and then like then seeing what's his name Kevin Owens come in and be like, I'm gonna like correct you or something, like so you can stop believing in stupid things or something like that. It's like so funny. Like there's a bit of comedic element to it, and those two guys can go at it. Like they're really good as wrestlers. So it was just a good.
They are the best.
Really well balanced. I think that match is going to be the most balanced, and I'm with you. I think I would not be surprised if that's the one that ends up taking the cake at WrestleMania.
I agree. And just very similar to Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, like these are two people who are really good at their characters, who know their characters inside and out and perform them so well. Perform the characters well, and then are very athletic in the ring as well. So I'm telling you, those two matches are worth subscribing to the Peacock Network just to check out this WrestleMania. This episode of West Box Score this week is brought to you by the Peacock Network. Subscribe at peacock.com/WrestleMania. Hopefully that gets us a couple of codes, right, Donald?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I don't know. I think that might have worked.
Yeah. You can finally see Lebowski.
Yes, you gotta see Lebowski, man. You got to. D-Bot, I think that's gotta be it for us this week. We gotta get ready to go check out WrestleMania, but be sure to follow D-Bot and I on Twitter at WestBoxScore. Be sure to follow our buddy Sonny and Mano. His podcast is the Fox Crate Podcast, wherever you get your podcast downloaded. And be sure to check out our media partner, Blue Wire Hustle. They're on Twitter at Blue Wire Hustle. And be sure to check us out on Discord. Big shouts out to Billy Delgado. Big shouts out to Big Money Matt Paz out there. Thank you guys so much for following us on Discord and on Twitter. That's it for us this week. See ya.
Later, guys.